Hi, welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, and even comment. I was thinking about leadership. Coaches, we always look to them. Even in the business sector, they like to get coaches to come out and talk about how to move a group of people together in one direction. And it made me think of moments of crisis, as Ron Rivera is talking about now about the vaccines. It wasn't that many years ago, everybody would have just said, hey, bounce the ball, go play, don't worry about other stuff. And we still hear that. But I think increasingly the lines have been blurred and leadership is coming from the sports world in social matters. We saw this in the past couple of years alone. A lot of players now stepping up on this. And I think it's a good thing on all this. And I just thought about over the years, what have I seen among, say, Washington football team, Redskins coaches on that? Well, I'll go back to Norv Turner. The Million Man March was coming to Washington, and a lot of players wanted to go. But it was on a Monday, and that's the day they have meetings. And they have Tuesday off, but, and Norv was kind of like, but, the schedule's the schedule. The NFL coaches do not like to break the schedules. But Norv made a change, and he said, okay, Monday off, Tuesday meetings. We'll swap the days. And a number of players did go, and that meant a lot to them. Marty Schottenheimer, 9/11 comes along. The nation is stunned by what's happened. At Redskin Park, it's just down the street from the Dulles Airport where one of the terrorist fights came out of. And suddenly it's very silent out at Redskins Park. And it was eerie. It was eerie. And, people turned to Marty to see if he could have something to do that. But Marty was old school, and he was basically, we'll stay between the lines. We'll be safe there. He couldn't step up like that. But maybe the best example then I saw was Joe Gibbs after Sean Taylor's death. Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls, was a terrific Hall of Fame coach. I think he did his best job after Sean Taylor died. The team won 4 games afterwards, but it was I tell you, the things I remember most about Joe from all the years was the after practice talks that he'd have with the media following Sean's death. He was terrific. He was battling with his own family problem of a grandson having leukemia too. And I could tell over those few weeks that Joe was leaving, and he did. But Joe would talk about Sean Taylor. He'd talk about football games that lasted 1,000 years in heaven, regardless of what you believe in. Joe, I could have listened to Joe all day talk about these kind of things. Joe is a terrific talker. If you ever get a chance to listen, go see him. He's unbelievable. There's a real leader for you too. Not for his Super Bowl trophies, but for what he does in life. And then we saw Ron Rivera last year, come in under the crisis of COVID. Everything is crazy. And what happens? He has to undergo cancer treatments for about 2 months. Wow. A lot of people would have gone home and said, you know what, Jack Del Rio, my assistant, you take over this team. I got to go take care of myself. And no one would have blamed him. But no, Ron stayed because he wanted to lead this team. And he did a terrific job, and they made the playoffs. And that was no short part of Ron Rivera doing that. And that was a man stepping up to a challenge. And that's what I think a lot of people really like about Ron. In sports, we see these things all the time. What I really love about covering sports is you see the focus of people to a goal, which is to win the game. And winning games is nice, and it's not going to change the world, but, it's your job. So, you get to see people focused and moving in one direction. And that's why the business world so often wants to hear from coaches. How do they move their office forward? And so I think now that we're no longer just bouncing a ball or staying inside the lines, the sports world has a lot to teach the rest of everybody. I've spent a lot of years around it. I can tell you it's worth listening to. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'll see you again soon.